Hi team, continuing the presentation of today, Flutter for the Liquid Galaxy project community. We have with us Mentor Victor Carreras. Mentor, how are you this afternoon?
Hello, everyone. Yeah, pretty good. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you for coming to this special Flutter event for the Liquid Galaxy project community. Um, as you remember, team, we are doing a few presentations of specialists. In this case, Victor is starting this year mentoring with us to the students. In this case, is working with Artur Cullares in the project ARCA. And then also we will have other specialist, Alfredo, that will also give us a presentation later. So thank you, Victor, for coming today, and also thank you for being a mentor, starting your thing with us. We appreciate your time sharing with the students and trying to help them on their projects. So I'm gonna get out of the camera, and you can start your presentation.
All right.
Um,
Thanks. Okay. First of all, thank you so much for the invitation. I'm really happy to be here with all of you, sharing my bit of knowledge of this really big technology. Um, yeah, as Andrew said, this is my first year as mentor. It's me. I'm Victor. I'm a mobile lead. I have been working in different technologies of mobile development. All of them involved on it. Um, yeah, actually, I'm really spent much more time in Flutter, and also I have been working in my free time develop a couple dependencies or packages in path.dev as platform detail, lightweight library to get information of the current platform, or for example the theme or stuff like that. This is a really helpful because you can get it in a short effort than if you have to implement. Also I have been working in a grapper for SQLite databases as a ORM. It's I'm really happy with all of them, but these two for me has a special sense. Also, with Flutter technology, I have been working in Drag PDF. This is another open source project that I have been involved. Um, Drag PDF is completely developed in Flutter technology, and you can merge, create, scan PDFs in a private with non-ads way. So if you are a Flutter technology and you want to be involved in it, feel free to ping me or to find it. Okay, what I want to talk is about the securing API keys. This is something that sometimes is not really easy. Also, because the Flutter developers um, usually to read information from Flutter technology, but also when there is no too much information about it, you can Flutter developers usual to find in an Android or iOS way to do it. And in this case, this is not helpful because we will see it in a few moments. This will not help us. So, what exactly? What are we going to see is this dependency with flutter.env. We will be able to read and env files, and we can put all of those API keys from Google Maps or the service that you want. And if you are working in a public repository, you will need to do something like this. For example, I doc PDF, right? Because you will not share, for example, your uh, keys for your Crashlytics or your service, whatever. So you can use your own .m file that you can put for every different platform. You will be able to put them as strings, single strings. After that, with this dependency, we will have to, in the main place, like before, to load the Firebase. As what are you are seeing, this load Firebase method that you are seeing is it's a boilerplate that you have to insert for load the Firebase and initialize the app for Firebase. But what we are going to do is to switch to before to load the Firebase, this load secure inf, in order to load the file of your .env file. Um, After that, what you will do is to change that current platform when you where is the place where you, by default, your APIs will be hard coded in order to something like this, right? This is the same file that you, the same boilerplate that Firebase insert you in every time that you want to use Firebase. But in this case, you will not publish your strings with your keys or private keys. Instead of that, what you will do is to use .env, and you will access into that file to every different key that you need. In my case, that PDF can run in different platforms, iOS, Android, and Mac OS, also in desktop. I have all of them, and every place that you have your Firebase file, it will be like you are seeing. All right, but keep in mind, don't publish your code before to add into .gitignore this env in order to skip it and avoid to add it into your next commit, because you will publish again your private keys. Also, I have added more files like Firebase app ID files.json. Also, the other Google service JSON and the info list. All of them has, in my point of view, information, private information. Probably you will think like, I don't know, for example, Crashlytics is not really a risk for me because those files, okay, they have the APIs, but my Crashlytics is not really interesting or risk for an attack. But in any case, it's your private data, and you have to do it whatever you want. All right. Okay, the issues more common that I have faced them is when you want to read in Android how to do that. Also, because in Android you will see stuff. Also, in the you can see the next code in the Flutter as an issue. The people commenting the way to do this. But if you try to modify the Android files, the Gradle, you will be able to change the manifest placeholder, and in that manifest placeholder, you can then to go to manifest XML file in order to read those fields. But keep in mind, you cannot change your manifest placeholder. You only can add stuffs in the manifest placeholder, because a Flutter project need that manifest placeholder because Flutter use it. So if you do this, your project will not compile. So you will see stuff like this. And that's all. That's me. I hope this helps you in your future projects, keeping in mind the risk and security. And you can follow me in the scanning the QR code of your screen. So thanks of all. Thanks, Andrew.
Hi everyone, welcome to this introduction of Flutter. In this session I will show you why Flutter is a very good framework and what is Flutter. Okay, my name is Alfredo, I am Flutter and Dart GDE, so today I will help you to understand what is Flutter. Okay, so maybe someone of you didn't hear about Flutter or is the first time that see Flutter in the session or in the web. So Flutter is a very good one framework for multi-platform development. In this time, today, in this year 2023, is the most popular framework to build cross-platform apps. In this time, Flutter has more stars in GitHub, more downloads, more traction than React Native or Xamarin. So I will show you why Flutter becomes the first one. Okay, so this is the 4 main principles of Flutter. I will show you each one in each step, but you have to remember that Flutter is beautiful, is fast, is productive, of course, is open source. Okay, but what is Flutter? Flutter is simply a framework, UI framework to build multi-platform apps. So there are a few examples of apps made by Flutter or using Flutter. So you will see that everyone is, or every app is different than the another one. So you can create a lot of kinds of apps using Flutter. We will see later in other examples. Okay, but why is beautiful? Because beautiful is like a very abstract concept. It's beautiful because you can create every widget, you can create every shape or every color in the app. You will not use like a component of the platform. If you want, you can use it, but you are not constricted to use, like for example in Android, some widgets in Android 9 or in Android 10 that maybe your app looks very odd. You can create everyone that you want because Flutter use a renderer that it can draw pixel by pixel, so you can create whatever you want. It's fast because every app created by Flutter is compiled to native code. So when you create an app, you don't have to have in mind the performance because it's very, very fast. You will see that a Flutter app looks like a native app, so you don't have to concern about performance issues. Of course, if you create a lot of widgets and you don't have in mind a few principles to make good apps, maybe it's lower, but in the majority of the case, it's very, very fast. Other topic that is very important for me as Flutter developer is that this framework makes you very productive. Why? Because with hot reload and hot restart, you can change your code and instantly the change are built in your device. So for example, in this GIF, you see that every time that the developers change their code, the code is updated in the app without compile it and compile it again. That is very, I don't know how to say, like it's very boring for a developer that if you change, for example, a color or a text in your app, you have to compile again to see this change in your app. Okay, and the last thing is open source. Everything in Flutter is open source. You can go to Flutter GitHub and you will see a lot of pull requests from the community. There are a lot of issues that the community is building, and you can contribute to Flutter. So if you like Flutter and if you work with Flutter and, for example, you see some bug, or if you want to change something that you think that could be improved, you can go to Flutter and create an issue and, of course, create a pull request and contribute to this project. So it's very good that a big framework made by Google but maintained by the community is very good to see in GitHub, and there are a lot of traction of users using Flutter. Okay, so this is Flutter, this is how the principles of Flutter, but the main thing of Flutter is how it works. Okay, as Flutter developer, you will write your code in the top level of this stack. Okay, so you don't have to know about native code, and usually you don't have to write Android or iOS or web code. So you will code like in a high level using a Flutter component, using Dart, that this is the programming language of Flutter, and you don't have to worry about the other layers in their stack, because your code is here. The bottom line is Flutter framework in Dart that is made by Flutter and is open source. This is compiled to Flutter engine that use a render engine to draw in their screen and to communicate with native code. In the lower levels there is the native code and the hardware, so you don't have to worry about this level of the complexity. You only have to write code in the top of the stack, so you only have to worry about your code, like clean code, some state management, UI code. So you don't have to worry about native code. It's very modern. The main principle of Flutter to write code in Flutter is everything is a widget. Okay, so when you start your app is wrapped by run app. This is a method that receives a widget, and this is the start of your app. You can imagine your app as a inverted tree. So start by a widget, and all of the child widgets create your apps. So for example, imagine that widget, the name widget is the main widget of your app, and you will create like page and some components, and these components are children of the other components, and you will create your app using this architecture. So everything in Flutter is a widget. Okay, the language of the writing in Flutter is Dart. Okay, there are a lot of people that they say, hey, I want to write Flutter code in JavaScript, or hey, I want to use Kotlin, or hey, I want to use Swift, but you cannot. Okay, Dart is the official language of the framework, because Dart and Flutter teams work together to get the best experience for the developers when they work in Flutter. Okay, but Dart is very similar to JavaScript of Java language, because it's a very high level language, and of course it's very modern language. It's made in 2012, so it's very modern. They have a lot of modern structures with synchronous API and tuples. In the last version it has records, pattern, so it's a very good language to learn and to use in your day-to-day development. Okay, Dart is optimized for UI because you will create your UI using imperative programming. So you will create classes or objects to use in your UI using Dart, and you will see that it's very simple. Product development, because with Dart we can use hot reload and hot restart, and using a virtual machine to run this kind of tools, and in the other hand it will compile to native code when it in release mode. So that is a very good language to achieve this kind of things. And also it's fast in all platforms, because that can compile to all platforms. For example, Linux, Windows, Mac OS, iOS, Android, web, it can compile to native code. Okay, if you want to use, or if you want to try before Flutter, there are a web page that is very good called dartpath.dev, and you can run this some Dart code without installing anything in your computer. Is in a web page, so you can go to dartpad.dev and start a Flutter app. You can run a Flutter app inside Dartpad. Try to use this language, see how to create classes, how to make a switch, how to make a loop or whatever, and try without installing any in your computer. Or maybe you can, or you want to show to a friend, or you go to other computer and you don't have installed Flutter or Dart, you can use dartpad.dev. Okay, let's try. And the last thing I want to mention is about the package of the Dart and Flutter that you can use. You can go to pub.dev and you will see every Flutter and Dart package that you can use in your app. Okay, you will have in your Flutter project a file name called pubspec.yaml. Okay, and you can install these dependencies in your project without make weird things like download the package or go to the project and put the project. You only have to write the name of the package, the version of the package, and you will use in your app. Okay, so if you go to pub.dev, there are a lot of package that you can use in your Flutter app. For example, there are a lot of widgets created by the community that you can use in your Flutter app. For example, a pin code extension or widget, or if you want like an animation or something like this, you can go to pub.dev, see all the package and use in your app. Okay, there are a lot of people that ask about, okay, Flutter is very good, Flutter looks very nice, but there are people using in real world, and the answer is yes, of course. There are a lot of companies, large companies, a big company like Alibaba or Groupon, itself, Google, eBay, that they are using Flutter in production apps. If you go to flutter.dev/showcase, you will see a lot of examples of Flutter production apps that a lot of companies, big companies, are using in their products. Okay, so if you want to test, like, hey, I want to test a Flutter app, a Flutter production app, a real Flutter production app of some company, you can go to this page and you will see a lot of examples and try in your device, and you will see that it's very good, and you will see like it's like a native app. You cannot see the difference between a Flutter app and native code app made in, for example, in Swift or in Kotlin. Okay, and also Google has a lot of apps, and they start creating these apps using Flutter or migrating to Flutter. For example, the new Google Pay or Google Wallet app is created by Flutter. If you have an Android, if you go to Google Wallet, you will see that it's a new app, and every line of this app is made by Flutter, and you will see that it's a very important product in Google, because the wallet is in these days, is a very important app in your phone. So if you go, and you will see this app is made in Flutter. And there are a lot of examples like the Dead Stadia that it made in Flutter, or Google Analytics, Google One, Google Nest Hub. There are a lot of apps in Nest Hub using Flutter. So you can see also in Google they have a lot of Flutter apps. Okay, there are like an example of a lot of Flutter apps that you can see is between every one is very different than the other one. So you can create whatever you want with Flutter. You could use in this case Google material design component, but if you want you can use, but if you don't want use, you can create your own component without any constraint, and you can use whatever color you want, whatever shape, whatever you want. So you can use whatever you want, and you can create a lot of beautiful UIs using Flutter. There are a lot of videos about the developer stories using Flutter. There are a lot of companies, a small company in this case, that in Flutter channel in YouTube, you can see, if you search Flutter developer histories, you will see there are a lot of companies that they start using Flutter, and they tell us how is the road or how is the path to become from start to Flutter to ship a Flutter app. Everyone that they say in this video is like, it was very fantastic. There are a lot of things about Flutter in the first step of the framework, but today it's a very good framework to create native apps and cross-platform apps. Okay, so Flutter, you have to get in mind that you can create mobile apps, you can create web apps, you can create desktop apps, and also in the next step is you can create apps in whatever device, like embedded devices, for example, a Raspberry Pi, or I don't know how to say, like very small machine using Linux in TPB, or some use case that, or for example, in cars, that Flutter can run in this device. So with one framework, you can create apps in whatever device that you want. The main principle of Flutter is, as developer, you will create experience in your app. So you don't have to be in mind, you don't have to have in mind that your app will run in mobile, or your app will run in a desktop, in a macOS computer, or in a Windows computer. You have to focus in create the best experience for your users. Flutter is the framework to achieve this thing. Okay, so thank you for your time, for seeing this video about this very little Flutter introduction. My name is Alfredo Bautista again. My Twitter, or my X, I don't know, the new name is Alfredo BS97. You can search me in Twitter. If you have some question, if you want to start in Flutter and you have some question, you can write me in DM in Twitter, and I will help you. I have a YouTube channel in Spanish, so if you want to search, is Alfredo BS97 as Twitter or as X account, and you will see some videos about Flutter, about topics in Flutter that I like to share. And also, I am co-organizer of GDG Marbella and FlutterCon. Maybe some one of you know our communities, because we made a lot of online events during the pandemic. So we will do again. We are going to create personal events here in south of Spain. So if you want to come here, you are welcome. Also, you have some resource of Flutter website, that if you go to flutter.dev, there are a lot of documentation, there are a lot of examples, there are a lot of guides or code labs to start with Flutter. You can install Flutter from this page. Also, they have a YouTube channel that is very, very good, because they show a widget of the week. So you will see a lot of widgets in the framework that you can use in your app, and it's very, very funny, because it's like 1 or 2 minutes explaining the widget, and it's very easy to understand. And also the official Twitter or X account of Flutter is FlutterDev. Okay, so I'm very happy to show Flutter with you. I think we can see in other events. So see you. Bye bye.
Hello everyone, I am Mahinura. I'm working on Happy's project, and it was originally developed by my mentor Claudia in 2020 in Java. However, in the Happy's remake, we decided to take it to another level and use Flutter instead. Flutter's performance was the main factor in our choice. The Dart language and Flutter's high-performance rendering engine enables a smooth animation and faster app loading times, which makes a responsive experience for the user. Another thing about Flutter is the hot reload feature, which is a very helpful feature in the development process, as you don't have to load the entire application in order to see your changes. You just have to reload. And also, this helps in fixing bugs much more easier and faster. Another thing about Flutter is its community. It's so supportive and it will help you along your journey in the development process. You can also find countless packages and countless plugins in the Flutter community, which provides main functionalities and helps you develop more functionalities to your application. So now let's dive into the code, and I'm going to show you a demo later on the application on the tablet view and the mobile view. I have organized the code base into folders for better maintainability. So for example, I have the reusable widgets folder here that contains most of common components that are used frequently, either in the Happy's Liquid Galaxy view or Happy's main app view. I also have the responsive folder here, which has the responsive layout class. This is meant to have I meant to have this folder to have different layouts for either mobile or tablet devices because Happy is meant to be used by users from all over the world, and Flutter makes this so much easier using the responsive framework package provided. I also have here the helpers folder that handle any APIs, data storage, or share preferences. I have the providers folder too that contains all the providers needed for the application. Providers are also a very effective package offered by Flutter, where it helps in state management and sharing data across multiple screens and widgets in an organized and efficient manner. The services folder is where I keep all the services I need for other database services or the Liquid Galaxy services, such as the KML, the placemarks, and the LG functionalities. And here, this folder is where I keep all the common functionalities across multiple views, such as building the drawer and extracting the G coordinates and all the pop-ups and colors. And the components folder is where I keep the tabs views. And the models is where I keep the models either for the database models, the Liquid Galaxy models, balloon models, KML models, and all that. And finally, I wanna end up with the PubSpec YAML file, which is a really powerful aspect of Flutter where we can easily manage dependencies and packages. Some of the essential packages were Dart SSH2 package, which played a crucial role in Liquid Galaxy port for the SSH connection to connect the app with the LG screens. The Glocator and G-coding were very important in extracting the user location and extracting coordinates from an address for the latitude and the longitude. The image picker was used to be able to allow the user to upload images from his gallery to our app. And of course, we have the providers, Google Sign-in for Google Authentication, responsive frameworks, share preferences, and many, many more packages. I will now show you a demo of the application on both the tablet views and mobile view. I'm going to start with the tablet view. And now you can see it first opens up the splash screen, then the main app view. You can see that you can switch to the Liquid Galaxy view from here or return back to the main app view from here. Let's start with the Liquid Galaxy view. Of course, you have to be connected in order to access all these buttons. And of course, the cities you have to be connected to. These are the LG settings and the connection screen. And here is the About page. And I guess this is all for the Liquid Galaxy view. You can switch again to the main app view. You can see all the users, donors, and seekers and their information. For example, this is the information of this user and the dates. And all these users, the donors, and the seekers. You can access all these pages if you are already signed in before. And because I had already signed in before, I was able to access these pages. This user didn't have requests or matchings, but this user had a donation in progress. You can also, the user can also make a new form as a seeker or a donor, or both. Maybe a user can be a donor and a seeker at the same time. So he can try and choose anything he wants. You can see here that the fields change by choosing, and you can specify the dates you want, as many as you want, and you can remove dates too. Now, for example, let's try signing out. We have also the same about page, and we have in the settings, I haven't implemented REST yet, but here is the sign out. If you tried accessing the pages again, you will get a signing error, so you have to sign in. In this page, you can sign up if you're a new user with Google account or sign in with Google account, or enter your email or password if you are an existing user. I'm going to show you now the mobile app view. So now this is the mobile view. As you can see, it's exactly the same as the tablet view. You can see the user's information and filter out what you want, the country, the city, and the category. As we can see, if we choose the city, filter it out, and clearing the filter. So, and you can see this user was already registered in the mobile application, the mobile device. So we can see this user had a matching, for example, and in the matching, you can see a bottom model, which shows the user that the app matched with you. So you can either request him or ignore. And the user had a donation too, but he didn't have any request. You can see the form. It will be exactly the same in the tablet view as in the mobile view. You can choose the same exact things and the dates. And if you went back, you can switch to the LG, where you will find the LG card and the settings and the connection screen. The same as the about screen. And now if we return again to the main app view, now we can try signing out. And the sign-in page. We can also, I'm going to show you the sign-up page. So this is the sign-up page where the user can enter the details of the sign-up, the first name, username, and all that. Also, Flutter provides a cool feature to get the coordinates of the user, current location. So if the user clicks on get current location and show location, he should see the location of his current address like this. And here too, you can upload a picture. Like this. So I have showed you all the mobile app views and the tablet app views and all the screens. So I guess this is it for now, and thank you so much.
In conclusion,
Flutter was a really good choice for the habits you make, and the development process was much more easier and more enjoyable. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Ana Laura. I'm a second year student of System Analysis and Development at Bautista University in Brazil, and my project is the COVID-19 Data Explorer. Well, I've been working as an intern in Liquid Galaxy Lab here in Facens for a year now, and Flutter is one of the many technologies we use here. So because of that, I already knew a little about how to create a project in Flutter. I really like the Flutter documentation because I think it's very complete, as well as the documentation for many packages used in development. So that's what made me choose Flutter to create my project. My code is basically divided into 4 main folders and one main file. Here's my main file, where I import just the splash screen that is shown when I open the application for a few seconds, and my main page, that is the dashboard page. In the folder pages is where I keep all the pages of my application. Now we have about page, the config page to connect with Liquid Galaxy, dashboard page where I have all the cards with charts and everything, search page, the statistics chart page, the splash screen, and statistics detail page. In the services folder is where I keep the API calls, the KML generator, and the connection to Liquid Galaxy functions. In the folder utils is where I keep general information like colors and coordinates settings. And my widgets folder where I keep components that are used in other pages, like in the dashboard page, for example, the global contamination card, the global evolution card, the statistics card, and that's it. I choose to separate my code this way because I think it's the best way to keep a clean and organized code. During the project development, I had some issues with the connection with Liquid Galaxy, as the packages that I tested didn't work very well, and the behavior of the application in debug and release mode was very different. So many times something worked in the debug mode, but not in the release mode, and I couldn't visualize why the error happened. I also had problems with the visualization of the polygons in the Liquid Galaxy, as the visualization worked in the virtual machines, but not in real machines sometimes. I also had a little difficulty processing the data from the APIs, especially being able to separate them in a way that would be nice to see the data in the application and in the Galaxy at the same time. But thanks to my mentors and the help of the community, I managed to solve many of the problems, and I learned a lot so far.
Hello, my name is Artur Guilleres, and I'm a contributor of Google Summer of Code, and I'm developing Arca, that's my project, that is an agro-robot control app, and as it says, is a robot controller, where in the application you can have a better control of your fields, if you are a farmer, for example. And I have done this Android application with Flutter. I have chosen Flutter because it allows a better UX and better user experience programming than other languages than HTML or Kotlin, for example, that are very tricky or more difficult to understand. And I also liked because it allows the multi-platform. Like we can, in the same code, we can code in Windows, Android, iOS, or whatever. And if you have to scale your program to big, to a big performance or anything else, it's easier than having to code everything you want to change it to another platform. And now the application it's connected to Liquid Galaxy, and with the Google Maps, now we can make a very simple demo where you can see that some information is shown on the Liquid Galaxy, like the logos. I don't know if you can see there a little bit of information of the robots, and if we move from these Google Maps, it shows it changes the position. And if we change the land that we want, now for example we are in Lleida, Spain, and if we go to USA, if we click on the land, it goes to the current location. And some of the issues that I found is that I have never programmed an Android application before, so when I started coding this application, I made a lot of problems and coding errors that I have to carry it during all this period. But well, from now on I'm still going step by step. And here, for example, we have a field with all the map screen where all the data of the Google Earth and Google Maps is loaded. First of all, the coordinates that we have to load, they are loaded, as it said, at the init state, and we have to create each marker. And in our case, the markers are all the robots that we have to show to the Liquid Galaxy or to the tablet. And here, when we create the instance of the Google Map, we also call the functions of on camera move, and when you drag the position, it sends the new position to the Liquid Galaxy, allowing to have a control of the map with the tablet. And that's all. Here the function to send it to the Liquid Galaxy. And well, we call this function on our main screen. That here we have the buttons of every page we want to go. In this case, for example, the map screen, and we send the coordinates and the robots that we want to show. And well, that's one of the usages of the code.
Hello everyone, I am Krishna Agrawal from Raipur, Chhattisgarh, India. Currently, I am a third year undergrad pursuing mathematics and computing from IIT Dhanbad. My project is Team Celestial Satellite Tracker in real time, and for building the project, I am using Flutter. The reason behind using Flutter is that I find it very easy to learn. When I first started to code, I found Flutter very simple and very easy to learn. Using Flutter, we can also build good UI, as it also offers customizable widgets. And with Flutter, we can also use some third-party libraries through which we can make our app more functional. And in Flutter, we have one feature called hot reload. For example, if we are building our app and if we make some changes in the application, we don't have to restart the app. We don't have to restart the app again in order to see the changes. We can just hot reload it so that the changes can be seen in the ongoing app. Now I'll show the code base for my project. In my application, I'm fetching the data from the database with the help of an API, and I'm implementing that with the help of Flutter block. So here in the main screen, I have 4 states, and this is the satellite qubit which fetches the data from the API, and it gets the data from the satellite repository, and the repository in turns fetches the data from the API. It sends a request and it gets the data, and when the data is loaded from the database, it saves the data into the local storage of the system. And further, I have all the screens in uh, all the screens under one repository, all the screens that are shown to the user. Here I have all the services that handles the backend of the application, and here I have the models, all the models that are required. For example, here I have all the KML files that are required to send data to the LG rig. For example, if I see one KML, so we can see that here it has some properties defined and all the code required. And further I have some utilities. For example, this is the file that contains all the application colors required for the screens, the snack bar that is that is often used, and all the keys basically for to fetch the data from the local storage. And further I have some widgets that are most commonly used, so I have stored them uh, under one repository.
Hello everyone, this is Manas Kumar from India, and I am pursuing electrical engineering at IIT BHU, currently in my third year of academics. So, I have working on rocket launcher application for Liquid Galaxy under Google Summer of Code this summer. So I chose Flutter over Kotlin for app development because mainly because of its cross-platform nature, as it allows us to create application with single code base for different platform like iOS, Android, uh, website. You can also make website and desktop app or Linux app also. So that is why I mainly chose Flutter. Also, it is based on widget and parent children hierarchy, so it makes it quite easier for creating comprehensive UI and include quite many components to it with the help of different packages and plugins in Flutter or Dart. So that was the main motivation for choosing Flutter over Kotlin for development. So moving on to my project, let's delve into my code base. So first of all, I will explain the folder structure of my project. So here on the left side, you can see the folder structure. Apart from the defaultly created files, I have these assets which have one folder for different languages, icons, then images or different things that are used in this application. And then I have logos, the rocket model, the satellite models. So these are the assets of my folder that will be in the application on local storage. Then moving on to lib folder, which has mainly all of the codes of this application. So there are many folders. I will go through them one by one. First of all, I have this animation folder, which will include all the type of animation that will be there in the application, like user interface animation or the animation for rocket model, etc., which will be included further in this period, coding period. Then I have configuration. This will have the app theme. Then we'll have the font, dynamic font size. Then we'll have the image paths, the all of the image assets paths defined here in string. Then we'll have the screen configuration. Then we'll have the text to speech feature, which will be implemented soon in this period. Similarly for the text to speech. First, it will have speech to text and text to speech both. Moving further to data, it will have files that will be responsible for data receiving and storage data, storing it on the local storage or creating a different classes with those data. This data will basically data will be retrieved from API responses of SpaceX API mostly. Then moving further, we have different models for different functionalities like balloon model for showing KML balloons, then KML model for KML model for creating KML files, then line model, lookat model, orbit model, placemark model, point model, screen overlay model, and tool model for different KML functionalities. Like line model will create a line across the terrain of the on the Google Earth. Lookat will take person from one point to another. Orbit will start a circular orbit around a point in the Google Earth. Place mark will mark the place, and similarly for other models. Then I have utils. It will generally contain the repeating functions and other repeating things that are being used across the application, like for LG tasks, routes of different pages, and some repeating functions under the util, like selected app language theme, etc., or the font size multiplier. Then I will have the repeated services and KML services also, and the KML generator that I have created here. Moving further, we have view models. View models will take care of the different models or interaction in all the views, like when the views should change or how the components of views should change depending on the interaction from the user or depending on the fetching of data. And then we have the different views of our application, like home, error, help, inventory, actions, onboarding, search screen, etc., etc. All are included here. So these is the basic folder structure, and the related code is here. So the like the problem that I'm faced, that there were quite a few many problems while creating this application that I have faced, and got through it by discussing with my mentor or the fellow contributors. One of the problems that I'm currently working on is showing camel balloons to the LG. Like for now, the LG is quite nicely showing the look at, orbit, go to, fly to, etc. place mark, etc. options. The logo is also showing quite nicely in the LG, but it isn't still showing the KML balloons on the right side of the screen, on which I'm currently working. So I have to figure out why is this happening, because I've created distributed functions for showing the KML file. Like combining them will create a complete KML file, which will be then sent to LG, and then it will be executed on the slave machines. So that was all about the code base and project of this project. Uh, I guess, yeah. So, and that was the problem that I'm currently working on. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, my name is Shubhanu Chatterjee. I am a GSoC 2023 contributor for Liquid Galaxy, and I am working on the Liquid Galaxy gesture and voice control project. My project revolves around creating an application which allows users to control the Liquid Galaxy rig using their voice and gestures, such as pose and hand gestures. So I am using Flutter in my project because not only does it provide a cross-platform framework, but it also provides various widgets which I am using in my project to create a modular architecture where each module is performing a set task, and it is way easier to develop using widgets offered by Flutter. Other than that, Flutter also offers various APIs and frameworks such as Google's ML Kit, which I am using in my project to give gesture detection capabilities to my application. That being said, this is the code that I'm currently working on, and as you can see, it is divided into various modules. The voice module is dedicated to the voice control section of the project, which allows users to control the LG rig with their voice, and the gesture module is used for gesture control and all of the machine learning models which are available to control the LG rig using gestures. The entirety of the code is available at GitHub, and also this is how currently each of the projects are running. So
North, south, move east, move west,
yeah. Other than that, I haven't faced much issues in development, but right now I am working on an issue regarding the gesture detection. It is a bit of lag and jittering that is occurring when controlling the Liquid Galaxy rig using gesture detection. So it was most probably due to some memory overloading, and after discussing with my mentor, we came up with two solutions. One of them was to reduce the number of FPS at which the gesture detection is occurring to reduce the number of function calls, and secondly was to implement isolators and workers to implement multi-threaded execution of the code. Uh, Implementing these two should ensure that the app runs at peak performance and uses memory optimally, and that should resolve the issue. The project is nearly completed and I hope to finish it soon. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Murilo. I'm from Sorocaba, São Paulo, Facens, and I am developing right now the Liquid Art project. The project is using Flutter right now as its base. Flutter is ideal for developing this app because it's a minimum viable product. And when you are doing these small scale apps, Flutter is very good because it requires very low time and money investment because of it have a easy UI and a fast learning curve for someone that is learning right now Flutter.
So right here you can see the project structure that the Flutter build itself. Right here we have the pubspecs YAML that you import everything and set up the versions and the basis of the app. Then we have the lib that is where you build your app. So right here we have this structure, the main app that only starts the main functions and run the app, the server that maintain the server here that we use to show the images in another devices. Then we have three folders inside the SRC paste directory. So we have features, utils, and widgets. Widgets are widgets that we use in everywhere in the app. Utils is things that we are not physical, but we use as basis to many features inside the app. And features are each thing that the app contains, like the home page that have a presentation folder that have page and the page folder and the page widget. Then we have the same thing for gallery. API key have the same presentation. Then we have here the qubit, Galaxy qubit for the connection with Galaxy. The connection page. The infrastructure is a folder that I use for the logic only. For example, this logic is only used right here. So it's only here, the infrastructure, not in utils. Because this user configuration is where we save the user API key and configuration for the app. So everything, everywhere in the app uses it. The drawer page that too is have the API feature that calls each API and build the image and return the image, the API that builds the image. Then we have each page or widgets that have its own structure that we use right here is setting up the class, setting up the variables, then the functions, and then start building the app, as you can see here. So I would say that that's the base of my app, and thank you for watching.
I am Prayag Biswas, and in this GSoC 2023, I am working on the project called Smart City Dashboard, whose task is to gather the data of various smart cities and visualize it. I have chosen Flutter as the main language for my project because, first of all, Flutter is a native language, so it can run on most of the platforms with little to no tweaks. And secondly, the popularity of Flutter is increasing day by day, as same for the Flutter community. So it will be assured that this project will be supported in this future very well. So let's take a walkthrough of the code I am working on. For the code, I have broken down each class and widgets into separate files so that it is easy to use as well as it is easy to read for the coders. For in this project, I have also used a state manager Riverpod, which is a developed version of Provider, which is already a very popular package. So let's take a walkthrough. In this main file, I am starting with all the layout of the app. For example, by default, it will go landscape left. Then I am initializing the language providers. Then main page, it will go to the splash page at first. So in this splash page, whenever the app gets loaded, for example, whenever the app will start, it will show a splash screen, and in the background it will load all the things that is required. In this way, I am after that I will be loading the home page. For example, the home page is in this file. So in the home page, I will be showing all the city cars and all. Then from the home page, I can navigate to any page like help page. The help page is also in a different file. About page, settings page, and visualizer page, which I am currently working on. Then in the actual dashboard of the cities, which is also in a different folder, it will get initialized in this dashboard file, and all the widgets. For example, let's take a example of this New York City. uh, this is the left panel and this is the right panel of this dashboard, and everything is divided. For example, in this left panel I am loading the data as per the city selected, and in the right panel I am showing the Google map part and this bottom data panel. And this Google map part is also in a different file where I'm like working only on this part and importing in this file and loading it. Similarly, all the in this app I have to download some optional data. In the all the data are in a different file so that it's easy to read and write. City data is also there, whatever which cities are available or not, and each data of the city are also in a different folder. For example, the data of Austin, the environment panel is in this folder. In this in its state, I will be loading this function, which is initial taking all the downloaded files and parsing it through my custom parser made for the line chart and pie chart both. I'll be loading the line chart, like putting the data in this function, and it will show me the line chart, pie chart, everything. So that it maintains the readability of the code and modularity also. And all the, as I said, all the pages are in different files. and all the constants and other things. For example, text style, which I have to use repeatedly in this code because of the font family, font weight, which can be easily taken from this so that I don't have to write it again and again. All the images are taken from the assets. All this constant value are all in separate files. Themes, for example, if I change this color in the light mode, it will automatically change all the colors related to it. So, and for the few packages I have used, there are Flutter Translate for multilingual functionality, Flutter Refer Pod for the state management, shared preferences for storing the options given by the user, Dart SSH2 for the connection. Also, like as I said, connections related to Dart SSH. Liquid Galaxy are also in separate files. For example, all the functions related to it, set, refresh set, sending the files, and also downloading all the files are all in the respective files. Then Google Maps Flutter for the map. Then HTTP for the API, weather API, percentage indicator, this percentage indicator, this one. Then connectivity plus for ensuring the internet connection is available and to make sure this flag is available or not. Syncfusion Flutter charts and FL chart are for the line chart and pie chart respectively. Flutter staggered animations for this smooth animations. It's a little laggy in this emulator, but as you can see, it is like slightly sliding from left to right, and all this home left panel also is changing with animation. Background downloader for the downloading the files, CSV for parsing the CSV file, path provider for checking where I am downloading the file, URL launcher, uh, in the it is used in this about page where I can just click on any link and it will open me the link. Flutter switch for in this settings, theme button, speech to text where I can just say anything to here and it will write it here. In the emulator it's not available, but in the actual device it works. Flex color picker, which I am currently working on in this visualizer page, where I can add multiple Y plots and I can select a color and pick any color from it. And Cupertino icons for iOS. Dev dependencies, Flutter launcher icon for the icon of the app, Flutter lens, and here, and for the again for the launcher app. In the assets, all the assets files and the font. So that's all. That was my code overview. Hope you liked it. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Karine Pistilli, a computer engineer from Brazil. I've been contributing to Liquid Galaxy since 2019, and this is my second year as a mentor. During this period, I've seen contributors develop projects in many different platforms. But Flutter always stood out for me as it is a very powerful framework to create great applications. They are both stable, beautiful, and also very scalable. On GSoC 2020, my project was done with Flutter, and I thought it helped a lot to speed up the development of the app and also to increase the quality of my code, as Flutter is very easy to learn, and in my opinion, the learning curve is faster than with native Android. Flutter also has a lot to offer in the case of performance. documentation, and many packages that are made either by the official team or the community that we can reuse in our apps. Now, speaking as a mentor, I strongly believe Flutter is very helpful to all the mentees. By following up their development, I can see it helps a lot then during the process. And it's very easy for me as a mentor to suggest them things to look up for. So there are plenty of articles and videos online that they can use as a reference. Also, the material widgets are very helpful and very beautiful. So the students don't need to work as much on the style and can reuse the style Google offers on the framework. So I believe it's something very valid that you should check it out and go try Flutter.
Hi, my name is Claudia Dioshan and I'm the main mentor of Mahinur that this year is a GSoC contributor implementing the Happy's project that is an Android application developed in Flutter, and its main use is to connect people all over the world in order to give or receive humanitarian help. About Flutter, I think that it's a great SDK, and the fact that you can use ready-made widgets is a revolutionary thing because it helps you to create a user interface utilizing these building blocks. Another great thing is that Flutter provides widgets that perfectly follow Android material design. The UI customization that usually takes the longest to finish in cross-platform development requires a minimum amount of time with Flutter. Since Flutter is backed up by Google, and actually Google itself is a big user of this technology, I think it will have constant support. All the bugs will be fixed immediately and the product will keep developing far into the future. Talking about the Mahinur's project, I think that she did a great job with this application that can be used in mobile phone and also tablet, and allows donors and seekers connect each other, and most important, give help. On the other hand, the Liquid Galaxy feature could be used in a lot of places of interest in order to show all information to other people and receive more users or help. From my personal experience, that I was a GSoC contributor a few years ago, and I developed my project using Android Studio and Java. Now that I see the difference with Flutter and that we don't have to separate layouts of code, I think that it makes the work easier, and this SDK could help students to focus more on what really matters. Have fun coding. So thanks for listening to me.